Welcome back. Now, residents of Perambakam woke up this morning to a shocking mass grave, not of humans killed in a cold blood, but street dogs murdered just as mercilessly. At least 60 street dogs have been ruthlessly injected with poison and buried in a village panchayat just a few kilometers outside of Chennai. And even as this foul case comes to light, animal rights activists say it's just another incident to prove how mindless and cruel our people can get. Now, rigid carcasses of 20 community dogs dug out from a 6-foot deep grave. Even as the Blue Cross does all that it can to solve the mystery behind this terrible mass murder, the residents are in for a shock. Murdered just a day back for unknown reasons, these animals lie without care and dignity, and at least 40 more dogs lie buried inside.
After coming here, I've seen just one dead body of the dog. I went back to the police. I asked the police to come and support me and to open up the grave. It's a mass grave where the local people have said that it is about 60 dogs buried in one mass grave. So the local police also, and a sub-inspector lady, she had come immediately and she has permitted us to exhume the grave, and I've been doing it. So far I've taken out 20 bodies of dogs, and there are still many more. I'm also tired, so I'll be going back to the police and lodging in a FIR. We will be lodging a FIR with the PC Act, Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. If the perpetrators are nabbed, they will be punished up to 3 months of imprisonment.
So from this morning, since we got the phone calls, we came to the site. It took us a while to find out exactly where the site was, and once we found, there was a big mound of rubbish, and with that rubbish we had to remove all the rubbish, and underneath is where we first found the first dog. And then as we took the first dog out, underneath were many layers of dogs underneath, so it was quite heartbreaking to see.
Well, the villagers confirmed that the ghastly operation began when the street dogs were rounded up yesterday morning. Worse, the organization responsible for this heinous crime is allegedly the village panchayat itself.
These are the bodies of nearly 20 dogs mercilessly put to death much before their time. But with none of the residents actually willing to come forward and point fingers at the people responsible, justice for these dogs seemed to be a far dream. In Chennai, Pratiksha Ramkumar for Ndtv-Hindu.
Well, in some more news from the city, hundreds of government employees and government contract workers were lathi-charged and arrested in an attempt to lay siege to the secretariat. Tamil Nadu Government Employees Association members and Road Workers Association members who have been fasting for last 3 days tried to rally to the secretariat, and to disperse them, the police lathi-charged and arrested them. The government employees had been agitating to demand changes in their pay structure.
நாங்கள் தமிழக முதல்வரை அவருடைய புதிய தலைமைச் செயலகத்தை சந்திப்பது என்ற அடிப்படையில் நாங்கள் தலைமைச் செயலகம் நோக்கி வந்து கொண்டிருந்தோம். அப்பொழுது காவல்துறையினரால் தடுத்து நிறுத்தப்பட்டு தடியடி நிறுத்தப்பட்டு பல தோழர்கள் மண்டையில் காயம் ஏற்பட்டும் உடலில் காயப்படுத்தி இருக்கிறார்கள்.
And the Madras High Court today ordered that action should be initiated against the police officials and the family of the girl involved in a dishonor killing. Now, the court told the public prosecutor that the case has to be investigated afresh in the killing of Chennai-based Dalit boy Vinod Kumar. And the second bench of the Madras High Court today suspected foul play in the depiction of the boy's killing as an accident, as there was enough evidence to point out that it was in fact not an accident. Vinod Kumar eloped with a caste Hindu girl Lakshmi and was later killed in what the Nangueni police called as a freak accident.
ஒரு சாதி மறுப்பு திருமணத்தில் பையனை வந்து கொண்டு போய் பெண்ணோட குடும்பத்தாரும் காவல்துறையோட சேர்ந்து கொலை செஞ்சிட்டாங்க. அதை வந்து கொலை இல்லை ஆக்சிடென்ட் சொல்லிட்டு மறைச்சாங்க. நாங்கள் நேரடியாக போய் இன்வெஸ்டிகேட் பண்ணதில் என்னுடைய ஜூனியர் சரவணகுமார் அவர்கள் வந்து ஒரு அஃபிடவிட் தாக்கல் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. இன்றைக்கி இந்த அஃபிடவிட் வந்து எலிபி தர்மராவ் மற்றும் கிருபாகரன் அவர்கள் முன்னாடி விசாரணைக்கு வந்துச்சு. அவர் என்ன சொல்லிட்டாங்கன்னா, இந்த அஃபிடவிட்டை பார்த்துட்டு இம்மீடியட்டாக அந்த பொண்ணோட அப்பா ரத்னபாண்டிய நாடாரை கைது பண்ணணும். கைது பண்ணி நாங்கள் கேட்டுக்கிற டெபுட்டி சூப்பரண்ட் ஆஃப் போலீஸ் மேலே எங்கள் அஃபிடவிட்டை பேஸ் பண்ணி யார் சொல்லியிருக்குமோ அவங்க மேலாம் உரிய நடவடிக்கை கைது செய்து உரிய நடவடிக்கை எடுக்கணும்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க.
And well, in another big story, former Telecom Minister Arun Shourie met the CBI officials today in connection with the 2G spectrum scam. He has submitted a 50-page document that details his account of the 2G scam. He has dismissed allegations in the government's 2G report, which said that trial rules were tweaked during Shauri's tenure. Now, Arun Shauri said his advice to Raja would be to turn into an approver. But on to this one story that has been making headlines the world over. Fierce fighting between Gaddafi loyalists and anti-government protesters near the Libyan capital last night. Protesters took control of major parts of Tripoli. In a rambling appeal for calm, Gaddafi blamed the revolt on Al-Qaeda leader bin Laden. Reports of Gaddafi losing control of major centers in the east, including Benghazi, Misrata, as well as Zuara in the west, also falling, brought the tide of rebellion closer to Gaddafi's power base. Now, France's top human rights officials said that up to 2,000 people might have died already in the uprising since February 15th. Now, the Swiss government, meanwhile, has said that it has frozen assets belonging to Gaddafi and his family. US, Europe and other countries, meanwhile, scramble to evacuate the people working in Libya.
أصبحت واضحة. نحن اللي مجند أولادنا هي القاعدة، هي بن لادن اللي بيسموها الإرهاب الدولي، ومعنا أمريكا ومعنا أوروبا ومعنا العالم كله في محاربتهم. يا أخي إحنا اللي كان نسمع كلام يقول لك ما فيش، هذول اسمهم مسلحين وإرهابيين، ما فيش أي عمي يرحمني معاهم. لكن إحنا قلنا لهم هذول أولادنا هم يقولوا مطلوبين، هذول مطلوبين عند أمريكا. اللي في قرنا مطلوب في غوانتنامو كان.
Well, US President Barack Obama will talk to leaders of Britain and France about the crisis in Libya, as Washington is keeping all options open, including sanctions as well as military action. Now, the United States is working to build consensus for action against Libya's government, which Obama has condemned for outrageous violence against its own people. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton will fly to Geneva for a meeting of the UN Human Rights Council on Monday. And want a job of your choice and remain your own boss? We'll tell you how on the other side. Keep watching.